Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I've got this cool modification that I showed off in a video a while back. I had some questions about it, and this is basically a Megaminx that didn't require any extending at all. What I did is I cut down the faces as deep as I could go, and then I sanded on this face down as deep as I could possibly get to without destroying the mechanism. And as you can see here, I ended up with a square here, so if I was to do that on the other faces, I'd end up with a perfect cube. Now, this is from a time when I was afraid of doing extension modifications, and so I wanted to avoid them at all costs. And I also wanted to own a Megaminx because it wasn't mass-produced at the time. So I figured that this was the only way for me to actually go about building one. But of course, now I've learned a lot of other stuff that would allow me to actually make one quite easily. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. But I actually wanted to try this modification again because, based on what I can see with the cuts of this face, it'd look a lot different to a regular Megaminx, so I really just wanted to see what would happen. So, I have another Megaminx here, which I'm going to use to make another one of these. This one's forever going to be a testament to my failures, but I'm really excited to see what this puzzle is going to look like, so I'm just going to jump straight into it. It's not that difficult a modification, it's really just 6 cuts and then filling everything in. So let's get started. To start this modification off, I did what I usually do and I took all of the center caps off, especially since I wasn't actually going to be using them during this build. They would have been cut off anyway, so I just got rid of them. And then I got my drill out and I tightened up all the faces so that they wouldn't turn. After everything was tightened up the way I wanted it to be, I got some super glue out and I glued up some of the pieces that would be cut off. This was just some extra insurance to make sure that the puzzle didn't explode while I was cutting it. Seeing as how I was cutting the faces on such an oblique angle, there was a chance that they could still turn being pulled by the bandsaw, and if they did that, they would bite onto the blade and then explode, and my hand would probably explode along with them, so I just made sure to glue up some of those pieces before I went to cutting it on the bandsaw. After I'd finished cutting all the edges off on the bandsaw, I disassembled the puzzle because now it was time to fill all the pieces. And this is pretty much the majority of the modification done right here. I filled all the pieces off camera because it was kind of self-explanatory, but after they were all filled and cured, this is it. This is the entire modification right here, no extending or anything. So I took the puzzle over to my belt sander and I sanded the puzzle into a perfect cube. And after that was done, I got a nail file out and I knocked off all of the sharp edges on the cube because they came to quite a sharp point. And after that was looking good, it was time to disassemble the cube so that I could round off all the pieces individually. After I did that, I looked over the puzzle and everything was turning fantastically, and you can see the puzzle even shapeshifts here, so now was no better time than any to paint it up. I gave it 2 coats of black spray paint, and the spray paint that I use is Krylon Fusion Gloss Black. I've had a lot of people ask me about which kind of spray paint I use. That's the one that I steer towards just because I'm really comfortable using it and you don't have to prepare the surface very much before you start painting. But anyways, after everything was painted up, you can see here the puzzle turns fantastically. I wasn't going to bother covering over the screws because I knew that when I stick it up, the stickers would cover those screw holes. I'm going to get stickers made by Oliver. I've actually already sent him an email about this, so I'm going to have those stickers very shortly. And in about a week from now, I'll show this puzzle off completed and stick it up. But anyways, I hope you guys like this puzzle just as much as I do. This is actually a really easy modification, and if you can make an octagonal barrel or a 5x5 barrel, or something that only requires filling, then you have the knowledge and the skill required to make this puzzle, so I highly recommend that you give this puzzle a try. It wasn't that difficult. I mean, I only managed to make like a 4.5 minute video on it. It's such a simple process. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. That would have made such a good shot if I could have freaking focused.